And how much of an impact is this business backlash going to have on the kingdom?
I think it's going to be quite substantial. Foreign direct investment in Saudi Arabia has fallen quite a bit over the last 10 years since the financial crisis. This last year, though, it really fell off a cliff. A lot of this was in the wake of the arrests and detention in the Ritz-Carlton of many Saudi princes and business leaders. Foreign direct investment has dropped from $7 billion to about $1 billion. That's a tremendous drop, and I think we may well see it drop even further as a consequence of what appears to have happened here.
Jerry, this latest round of announcements by companies kind of disengaging from this event that's happening in Saudi Arabia obviously has become somewhat about public relations and obviously not wanting to endorse these alleged acts by the regime over there. But do you think that it's going to lead to more of a disentangling of business ties there? Is that something that's feasible on an ongoing basis?
Well, I think there may be some opportunities that are lost because of this and things that may change, but we have to bear in mind that some cooler heads have to prevail here, because certainly Saudi Arabia is the largest security position that we have in the region, as well as an economic connection related to the oil. So I think there's some things that have to be looked at carefully and discussed carefully, but I do not see a major effect until we find some more facts. And I think Turkey and the U.S. and Saudi need to deal with this issue, certainly outside of the media, and see what can be done to mitigate damage. But we cannot afford too many upsets, in that region.
How do they deal with this? I mean, how does the kingdom respond to all of this, Jerry?
I'm not sure, of course. I can't read their mind, but I think they definitely have to answer some questions and try to at least explain what they know, what has occurred, and why it occurred. But dealing with that, with the many subjections that we have and trying to figure it out is very difficult. So maybe some of these companies are reacting a little bit premature, but maybe because of their shareholders.
Ambassador Jordan, what do you think it's going to mean ultimately for the U.S. relationship with the Saudis at this point?
Well, when I arrived in Saudi Arabia right after 9/11, that was about as low a point in the relationship as we had had in many years. I think we are now at another potential low point, again, depending on how this investigation comes out. But I think if, regrettably, the facts turn out to be as we have heard them to be, there has to be a reckoning. I think you can still have a security relationship, you can still have common interests, but at the same time, you have to stand up for human rights. You have to stand up against murder and dismemberment. For heaven's sakes, if we can't stand up against that, then we forfeit all sorts of moral leadership in the world. So I think it's going to be a very rough period for the relationship with the Saudis. There will need to be some kind of sanctions if these allegations are true. We need to invoke the Magnitsky Act. I think we're going to find ourselves in a really rough patch. It doesn't mean that we can't continue to have common interests, but I also think it means we need to be able to stand up to what has occurred here.